art of Kazakhstan, from idea to realization, through the faces and details that usually remain behind the scenes. What inspires artists, what is their creation process, on what artists and poets, musicians and playwrights reflect upon, how do they present themselves to the world, how do they express the essence of their era. Together with Carmine Barbaro, we immerse into the world of creative search, into an atmosphere of trial and error, discoveries and revelations.
My name is Carmine Barbaro, and since childhood I've been very fond of reading. Among my favorite authors are postmodern writers James Joyce, Umberto Eco, and many others. I was pleased to learn that in Kazakhstan they have followers who lead a creative life, write poetry and prose. Today I am going to get acquainted with Beknur Kisikov, the author of the Novel-polylogue All. Life for me is writing. Not the economy, not the business, nothing. Only writing. For me it is so important that I am ready to start for this, anything. This year it will actually be a decade as I started writing. But my first books were on economics. Since I was the president of the Franchising Association, I wrote about franchising, about business, about the economy. But literature always interested me. I would like to tell you that somewhere from 2013 I began to hold book festivals. Why do I do book festivals? To support writers, so that they, our Kazakhstani writers, can show their creativity. Because I see so many writers who write, but their books are at home. And you know, when I created this festival, this side, so many writers, such as myself, are being harassed. They do not need money, they want readers to read their books. That's what's important. We have a community of creative people called Al-Malid. It has existed for several years, and it unites people who write poetry and prose. But this is not the main source for them. They are not professional writers. This is not the main area of their activity. Here in the framework of this society, we are friends. We support each other. And in general, it was quite natural when Beknur announced that he would write a book and asked me to edit. And in general, it helped me to make a decision. He doubted whether it is worth publishing it or not. Several years of work, 5 options of titles, editing, proofreading by friends, and a new novel with a circulation of 1,000 copies left the printing house, smelling with dye, and got on the shelves of the bookstore. When people ask me what my novel is about, it's very difficult for me to say, because the novel is about everything. At the same time, if we're talking about the leitmotif, canvas, and synopsis, we can say, well, these are 3 generations of Almaty residents, Kazakhstanis. This is the 20th century, the oldest generation, then the 2nd generation, and the 3rd generation of youth. But the main emphasis is on the man of a middle-age crisis, which is conventionally called on the world generational canvas of the hierarchy, the generation of X, the lost generation, as I called it. But this is an external story. And the inner story is first and foremost melodic. It's a lot of experiments with the text. Because I guess for the first time probably I use in literature Facebook correspondence, WhatsApp correspondence, and even the whole chapter called geolocation. Illustrations for the novel All was created by a young Kazakh artist Ekaterina Yefimenko.
It took me a very long time to approach the style. I showed Beknur one thing and he liked it. I said, no, let me do this in a different way. Well, we were nervous, and as time went by, he told me, okay, I'm tired of it all. I said, no, here look, we will do this, and it will be very good. Well, this way we came to a single graphic style, and for me, in some way, it's also such an interesting experience because I have not yet illustrated the novel, especially with so many characters. It was very interesting for me.
A special place in the novel is the description of Kazakh customs and rituals. It is interesting to read, and a person far from Kazakh culture can learn something new for himself.
You know how interesting it will be for different generations. I'll say this, I read it in draft form, and then after it was released. I will honestly say, I read it twice. The first time, I just swallowed it. The second time, I began to read it so sensibly, deliberately. And I took this book to my daughter in Prague. She has been living abroad for 16 years now. In principle, she does not really know our modern life here in Kazakhstan. She asks, Mom, is it really this way? And I say, yes, this is how it is, And she says if there is an opportunity in the future, maybe she will have a wedding according to Kazakh traditions. Well, let's see. Time will show.
Critics argue that in the new novel, Beknur managed to conduct a thorough analysis of the cultural processes that are taking place in Kazakhstan. As many interesting phenomena can be detected at the junction of modernity and traditions. In fact, all the searches for the protagonist are reduced to the civilizational gap and constitute the intellectual nerve of the novel. Imagine who a middle-aged man is. This is the most responsible age. He's 47 years old. He's responsible for the children, and he's responsible for the parents. This is the middle. This is the most dangerous trait, and this I wanted to convey. Plus, there is a little phantasmagoria. I would like to show that I give tribute to many of my spiritual teachers' styles. This is Umberto Eco, this is Joyce, this is Marquez, because there is magical realism, and Chekhov, critical realism, and Kobo Abe, the meditation of the syllable. This is the step prose of Abdujamil Nurprisov and Chingiz Aytmatov. All my spiritual teachers and their styles, which have made the whole world of literature so interesting, these layers also exist. Plus, I'm adding my own style. The polylogue is a dialogue of several people. Well, man wanted to innovate, because he really kept to this scheme. Why not an interesting form, quite innovative and original? All is a subconscious. He talks to the protagonist constantly. He acts as his friend. But then the reader understands that all is a character that is fictional. This is the subconscious. And maybe even the consciousness of the universe. Perhaps all is the most important person, and everything around us is just a support. I want the reader to play with his imagination. My favorite part, signing the books. Because at school for the composition, I got A's, and for handwriting, I got C's. I have a very terrible handwriting. I received the book from the author with his autograph, and I will read it. I cannot help but wonder how rich and diverse the cultural world of Kazakhstan is, and what an interesting people live and create here.
Приятного чтения вам. Вам спасибо.